Hey guys, so it's been one day and I've been following PigArt's tutorials and I've modeled this scene here. So it's just the same tree. I've copied it over and rotated and scaled it a few times, and then a bunch of these rocks, and I made these hills by making a really big rock green and the sky just like he showed in the tutorial. And what I wanted to do was add a bit more detail, so I went ahead and I modeled up these clouds, trying to follow a similar sort of technique to what PigArt explained. I'll show you guys how I modeled these clouds. So the first thing I did was I went online and I looked up pictures of clouds, and I looked up real clouds and cartoony clouds. And what I found generally was that the shape is composed of two things. You've got a flat base and then a whole bunch of circles to make up the cloud. So now we can take this shape and we can break it down into a cylinder at the base and a whole bunch of different sized spheres at the top. And it comes out looking quite nice, I think. And if we go to a different view, if I remember how to do this correctly. Oops. There we go. You can see it's rendering very, very slowly in this view. It's struggling. And that's got to do with the GPU rendering. This is where a GPU really comes in handy. So you're going to File, User Preferences, and here if you do have an NVIDIA GPU, you'll find CUDA. I did show that in the previous video, but I just want to show the difference that you get from rendering with the GPU. It's a heap faster. It's a lot faster than using the CPU. Anyway, we'll start modeling that cloud. So we'll go into a new layer here, and somewhere around here, yes, so you can go solid. There we go. So this is our modeling environment. If you guys want me to make a tutorial about the user interface, or at least what I know about the user interface so far, just let me know and I'll make one. What I've learned so far is that the numpad keys are used to move the display around to more accurate positions, and the number 5 is used to go from perspective to orthogonal. So I use that quite a bit because it reminds me of my my CAD work. I just feel a lot more comfortable using that. So the first thing we'll do is we'll create an icosphere, and here I've changed the subdivisions from 2 to 3, so it's got a bit more detail on it. And we hit S to scale, and we'll scale it up. And we don't want it to scale uniformly. We want it to scale on one of the axes. So if we hit the key X, we can scale on one axis. And now this is where I ran into a bit of trouble. So watch this little video. I was going through a tutorial and I've run into this problem, which is every time I try to select these vertices and I'm going to scale them on the Z axis to 0, and you see I get this funny thing down the back happening. And what I found out was that when I'm making my selection, it's actually not selecting the other side, and that's because of this setting down here, which is limit selection to visible. So I want to turn that off, and now when I select, I'm selecting all the way through. Okay, so now you know the trick to how to fix that. First thing we'll do is we'll go into edit mode. So Blender seems to have 2 different modes, or maybe even, yeah, it's got all these bunch of different modes. At the moment we use object mode, at least from what I know, object mode to lay out your scene, move your objects around, and then edit mode to actually do the modeling and change things at a vertex level or a face level. And we'll hit the A key to deselect everything, the B key to select. I'll make sure that the selection has gone through to the other side, and then scale using the S key again, Z axis this time, and we want to scale to 0. So it's just like PigArt's tutorial about making a rock. And check out that tutorial. I'll leave a link in the description. Next, we want to add some spheres. So let's just deselect everything. Sorry, not spheres, icospheres. And we'll just move this into location at the end here. And we'll scale it down a little bit. And we'll make a few more of these spheres. So another icosphere. This one's a little bit larger. Actually, let's make this one really big. We'll make this the main one. And we'll make another icosphere. You can see it's quite simple. We're just moving these icospheres around. And make sure that they're overlapping. There's another one. Let's make this one small as well. And we'll move it out here somewhere. Make it a bit smaller. And we'll make one final icosphere. Now, instead of clicking on these up here all the time, I found that you can click Shift D and it'll duplicate whatever you have selected at the time. So we can now move that to here and scale it. There we go. Now we can hit A to deselect. We've got this these spheres coming out into the bottom now. So we want to get rid of those. We can click B again to select, and we'll select everything down the bottom here and scale Z 0. Cool. And what do I click to get rid of this? There we go. We'll just shift it up. I'm still struggling with this left click. I keep moving the 3D cursor around, and I have no idea how to get it back into the center. Anyway, that's what it's looking like. Let's go into rendered view. Looks kind of pretty. And I can't remember whose tutorial I was watching, but they say you click M and you can move. Oh, we have to be in a different view, I think. No, we need to exit edit mode. There we go. If we click M, we can move our object to another layer. So I'll move it into the main scene. And now if we go back into that main scene, oh, it's a big cloud. We can now add this cloud and we'll scale it a little bit down. Let's get rid of this old one. Ta-da! Just rotate it by clicking R and then rotate it around the Z axis. If we hit the number 0 on the numpad, we can go back to the camera, and I'll go into rendered view, and it's looking kind of pretty, I think. Maybe I need to rotate it the other opposite direction, or move it down a bit. Just get out of this rendered view. I wonder if you can move things in rendered view. Would be kind of nice. I haven't figured it out yet. Da 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 da. Anyway, rendered view. There you go. So please guys, let me know what you think about this scene. This took me about, not including the clouds, it took me about 3/4 of an hour to make. That includes learning the keys, so that it's quite easy to do by the looks of it. I know it's not a brilliant scene, but I kind of like it. And also let me know if these videos are getting too long. I know that I can ramble on for quite a bit. Anyway guys, see you next time.